The wait is over. One of the most anticipated machines of 2023, the Synesso ES.1, has finally landed. So today I thought I'd share in the excitement of getting it out of the box, on the bar, setting it up, and pulling its first shots. Immediately, I can say that this thing feels like a tank. At 80 pounds, it's no joke to move around on your own, and I don't recommend it. Anyway, as I unwrap this tasty treat, let's go over some of its highlights. Synesso is, or I guess now was, a solely commercial machine manufacturer, and the ES1 is their first entry into the home market, though it's truly just a shrunk-down version of their flagship cafe machine, the MVP, which stands for Manual Volumetric Programming. But having used the MVP for the entirety of my on-the-bar barista career, the term manual is a little misleading, at least if you're looking at it in the way we normally talk about with paddle machines. Instead, the nature of the paddle on the MVP and the ES1 is to move through shot phases or program them and run it through automatically, but we'll get more into that a bit later. Hardware-wise, it's got a lot of what you'd expect from a high-end prosumer machine, but one thing I find the most interesting is its water delivery and boiler system. So it technically is a dual boiler machine. You can pull shots and steam at the same time, but instead of a brew boiler, it uses a low-temp tank that sits around 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and a steam boiler that puts out water between 220 and 265 degrees. So according to Synesso, the ES1 uses a proprietary hydraulic system, proportional valves, and what they call a fuzzy logic algorithm to blend water from the low-temp tank and the heat exchanger in the steam boiler to accurately produce the programmed temperature. This should also let you brew a variety of temperatures back to back, and even change from coffee to using the T-tap without a whole lot of waiting. Now let's look at the box of goodies that comes with the ES1, but first, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Standart magazine. If you're into coffee, its culture, and learning about the world around it, Standart magazine is the perfect addition to your brew bar or coffee table. With quarterly releases, they shed light on issues both inside and outside of the cafe, highlighting people who elevate the industry, and deep dives into new ideas around all things coffee. To sweeten the deal, each issue also includes a sample of coffee from some of the world's best roasters, to give you the full sensory experience. You really can't beat the combination of fresh coffee and fresh print. So head over to standartmag.com/Sprometheus, use the link in the description or code Sprometheus at checkout to snag $5 off your very own subscription of coffee and culture, shipped direct to your door nearly anywhere in the world with a money-back guarantee. And if you're still on the fence, you can actually try Standart for just the cost of shipping. There's not a whole lot to lose and a whole lot to gain. Alright, so now let's get back into it. So in the box you've got a USB drive that contains product information, which is like the manual, but that's also online, and that's likely the way I'll be accessing it during my time with the ES1. Also, for those who like to share, there's a nice spouted portafilter pre-installed with a 21-gram basket. And for those who live selfishly and dangerously, the bottomless portafilter, which has an 18-gram basket. Next up, you've got a little coffee accessory turducken here, which includes a nicely wrapped, branded shot glass from Synesso, and of course, more importantly, a steaming pitcher. And not just any, but a WPM, which is also my preferred brand, so that's a nice touch. Also, because a clean machine is a happy machine, they've included a blind basket for back flushing and some detergent. Also included is their complete weapon of a tamper. And this thing feels like it was machined from one solid block of steel. I actually weighed it, and it weighs over 700 grams, so that's getting close to 2 pounds. And from here, I'm going to just be straight up with you. Plugging something in is not something that I find particularly interesting, but here it is. But there is something I do find interesting, and that is the water reservoir, which is a unique top fill kind of situation and sort of feels like a gas cap. The machine itself can be fully plumbed in, but the internal tank is 3 liters, so that's a pretty good size for those who don't have the option. And it's fully contained, so you can fill it all the way until you see water under the hatch. And you're going to need that water because the first fill is significant, as both boilers come to 3.75 liters together. Now I'm going to skip over all the onboarding stuff like adding the date and the time, but the total warm-up time is about 25 minutes from cold. They also recommend on the first startup to flush all the air from the system by running the group and the wand to get it fully ready for action. Alright, so now with the unboxing out of the way, it's up on the counter, it's warmed up and ready to roll. Let's talk first impressions. So immediately I have to say, I think it looks great. The pictures and even seeing it briefly at the Specialty Coffee Expo really didn't do it justice. The white finish with the blue light and the black accents around it, it's just chef's kiss. In terms of the build quality, the body panels themselves are thick, the seams are very even, and the lines remind me of a sports car. Really, in terms of the first hands-on experience I've had with it thus far, the only portion of the body that feels a little cheap and tinny is the top of the drip tray, but that's really not all that unexpected, as it's designed to be taken off and put back on regularly. Operationally, the screen and general controls seem pretty straightforward at a glance, and I have to say the screen lock for wiping it down is a feature that I never knew I wanted. After pulling a couple manual shots, the process is simple and is broken down into 3 phases: pre-infusion, infusion, and ramp down. Which, if you're familiar, is the same layout as their commercial machines. Speaking of commercial grade, the pressure is produced with a rotary pump, and it runs through a flow meter, which measures the output of water. It also gives you the option to program the pressure and duration of each shot phase, save and repeat them at the press of a button. In terms of the possible sticking points for me, at least at this quick first glance, I have to say the operation of the paddle is just very different from the average paddle experience, meaning it's less of a direct adjustment to pressure and more of a point-to-point switch. Also, the massive headspace from the tray to the group just feels a little awkward in practice, and it seems prone to splattering, and the large backsplash is the perfect canvas for collecting espresso drops and ending up like a Jackson Pollock painting. And finally, I think the biggest point of contention here is going to be the price. At $9,000, it's really starting to tip the scales or blur the line, so to speak, between prosumer and commercial. Though that seems to be more and more of the angle manufacturers are going for, with home users wanting, if not demanding, the control that was not long ago only available on cafe equipment. Anyway, considering this is more of a laid-back unboxing and first impressions video, I'm not going to go much deeper at this point, and we'll be spending some quality time with the ES1 and plan on reporting back with a full review in the coming weeks. But as I wrap this one up and move into the testing phase, as always, I want to hear from you. What questions do you have about the ES1, and what would you like to see in the full review? Drop your answers to those questions and any others you may have in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications of new videos posted every Friday. Check out my Instagram at Sprometheus for content throughout the week. Help support the channel by considering becoming a member for exclusive access. And as always, stay caffeinated. Pony Boy.